Nord.
Hello.
Nord, as I hear myself in the background of Rahabim's channel again. I can't think of an intro. Please introduce episode 84 of the Strip Poker Night of the Inventory podcast. I'm your host, spnanon.
I am the co-host, Nord. We're going to be breaking down a bunch of new main roster additions in this episode, and a couple of art updates as well. And we have our special guest, Rahabim, back from last episode, creator of Wasp, Keku Kamen, and Muskie, the Mosquito Girl. Rahabim, please introduce yourself.
Hey, it's great to be back. I'm Rahabim87.
Oh, we've been saying it wrong the whole time.
I'm not picky.
This must be how he feels, knowing that he's pronounced Moski's name wrong this whole time.
Yeah, it just comes full circle.
Keep introducing yourself.
Oh, sorry. Yes. So yeah, I've been developing since 2021. I made a Wasp from Avengers, Keku Kamen, and I'm working on Mosky right now.
Please pronounce Japanese words correctly. This is cultural appropriation. You can't just turn all those vowels into a schwa.
Sorry, Mosky.
There we go.
I'll have to change that in the character editor.
You want to fly down with me to Tokyo? Do some karate and karaoke?
I mean, I would legitimately love to go sometime. That sounds like a great time.
Okay. Well, now that I'm done squeezing your balls here, let's see. Before we get into it, I should mention we kind of had to splice it into last episode, but the general feedback poll is still up and running, unless it takes Solitaire like 3 months to edit this. The general feedback poll runs every winter, unless you're Australian. They've been a bit delayed lately. That was just me. That was just selfishly me wanting to wait for last character feedback poll to get May and Jura's art updates all ready to go. But that pushed it back into the summer where it belongs. And now we have the general feedback poll, which runs on the opposite season and asks more general questions about this game. You can still talk about your favorites, but you can also talk about, what kind of new things do you want added to the game, or what kind of content do you want for your new favorite or for your favorite characters? What do you like about the game? What do you think could be improved? You can beg for your waifu. It's everything you could ever imagine. And if you put some time into it, it can go on for a while. There's a lot of questions. You don't have to answer them all. A lot of people seem to think that you do, in which case you might get people like from last time who go towards the end, I'm getting tired of this poll. They write, not knowing you can just skip questions. It really helps to read the directions.
If you're signed into Google, it will save your progress, so even if you want to submit it all at once, you don't have to fill it in all at once.
And by the way, this goes out to everyone who just submits completely blank responses for the entire poll.
Magnificent. I'm moved to tears by that response.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you expecting some kind of actual feedback? Yeah, that's how I feel too. Fuckers. Nord, what characters are we going to talk about today?
Well, the first character we have on the agenda is, and you're going to kill me for this, Nadeshiko Kagamihara. I'm just, that is how it's said. That's what I'm declaring.
I actually got fact checked. I got destroyed by facts and logic as well, if you remember, because I was saying Nadeshiko, which I guess is technically true, but it's enunciating way too hard. So it's like Nadeshiko.
Nadeshiko. From Eurocamp, the Comfy Camper. This is a character by Tweetsy12, with the model and art posing done by Purple Kuroi. And
she's been very prolific. She's dipping her hands into a lot of these projects.
Yeah, she really is doing a lot of really high quality art with tremendous effort behind it. I've seen how much she had to splice up Kyoko Kirigiri's model just to squeeze her in with the file space. So,
I believe we've both given our thoughts on Nadeshiko before.
I have some new thoughts, but I will let Rahabim take the stage first. Tell us what you think about Nadeshiko.
So she is a sweet and earnest marshmallow. She looks very cozy, especially like where I am right now. It's very cold, like in the single digits.
I can imagine.
I don't know why, but I wasn't expecting pantyhose from her. But even though in the model they're clearly
You were
visible.
telling us about how you live in Nebraska, and I can imagine the blizzards there, where there's no coast to monitor the temperature.
And everything's flat.
Yeah, the wind chill. Whew.
Yeah, she had a great climax animation, and I love that she actually made curry after everything was done. The only thing that I would comment on was that the camping tips were kind of hit and miss, kind of like how Rarity's fashion tips back in the day.
What do you mean? Like they kind of came out of nowhere, or what?
Like they would show up during the hand any lines and just kind of seem like non sequiturs.
Mm-hmm. You have any other thoughts? Art,
Yeah.
writing?
No, she was portrayed very well. Her personality. I haven't seen your camp, so it was just writing was great.
She does have a whole camping group. She talks about all of her different friends. Tweets he does really like the anime. I think it's getting a new season. I'm curious if he has any plans to make more of them.
I think once upon a time there were plans to make another character first. I'm trying to remember her name.
Rin Shima?
Yes, that one.
Is that the one who got memed on the internet because she told everyone to break your spaghetti noodles in half?
Maybe? I don't know. I really like Nadeshiko. Very cute, very wholesome. Has a little bit of spice here and there. I will agree that the camping tips are a bit hit or miss, and it is definitely her thing, but it also means when it's not the player's thing or the other character's thing, it falls a bit flat. But I think Tweety has put in enough effort that she's more than just her camping tips now. There's a whole world of camping-related activities you can do with her that involve pitching a tent in a different way, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean.
Sexual intercourse.
Can you please explain?
That's the answer. Sexual intercourse. That's what it always is. For me personally, it was a lot of fun to write banter between her and Gloria. They have a full complement of banter between each other, even towards the very end of the game. I even created a sort of cross-slot ending pose for the two of them that nobody else has really commented on, so I do wonder if people have played them together enough to see it happen, because they are in a preset table together.
It's a natural pairing if you think about it. In Scarlet and Violet, everyone's obsessed with sandwiches, but back in the good old days of Gen 8, I guess we're nostalgic for that now. It was all about camping and curry.
Indeed. But yeah, I quite like her. She's a nice, wholesome character. I would say she's quite good as a comfort pick if you want to have just a nice, chill game of SPNatI, and or you really want to watch a girl make and eat noodles in front of you.
Is what are the conditions for this crossover pose?
They just both have to lose, as far as I remember. It's really just as simple as that. They don't have a full dual forfeit or anything. We decided against that, but they do banter, they flirt a fair bit, and so if they've both lost, you should be able to see this pretty reliably.
I don't have too much to add. I don't feel as if she's changed too much in overall texture compared to when we discussed her. I believe it was episode 76 or 77 or so. She's still very happy all the time in a way that's a bit weird. It's nice for her to be upbeat, but doesn't really seem like anything bothers her. I don't know if you still got that impression. Still maybe a bit too focused on camping. It would be nice for her to have other interests. Can you corroborate my thoughts?
It did take a bit of effort to pull out more topics from her than just the act of camping itself. like leaning into aspects of cooking or like just enjoying exploration and nature in general. One thing that Tweetsy was strangely reluctant to have her talk about was that Nadeshiko herself has an interest in trains. Tweetsy, if you do not know, is a massive train nerd. I say that affectionately. And so I feel he was very worried about putting too much of himself into Nadeshiko's character, and he had to be convinced, no, it's fine as long as she talks about it, an amount that would be fine for her rather than yourself.
It's clear he really cares about this character. As you said, he self-inserts a lot and is maybe getting a bit self-conscious about it. But it's not a bad thing to like a character, to feel as if she kind of reflects you in various ways. Overall, I'd say a pretty positive presence. Maybe just try to flesh out her character. It's just the most I could say. It's pretty much what I said last time, and I think it holds true here. I think you have the cuteness and the basic shtick down, and maybe try exploring what other dimensions there are to her at this point.
I think, I would say she's in a very good resting point, but if Tweety does want to build upon her...
A camping spot, if you will.
Going in a more like flirty direction with other characters in targets or in filtered dialogue can go a long way to increasing her longevity and her appeal. Because it's fun seeing characters show an interest in other characters, in my opinion. And she definitely has hints of it here and there, such as with Gloria, but in some of her generic lines as well, and some of her lines towards the player. But overall, she is in a good spot.
I'm glad you were able to have that connection with her, with Gloria. I didn't even think about that, but it's a natural pair. Ready to move on?
I've said my piece. Unless either of you two have any thoughts.
Nope, I'm good.
I'm good. Take us in.
Next up, we have the art update for Pinkie Pie. This is bringing her in line with some of the other pony girls. She has had a visual upgrade in all regards. Horsecat put in the effort once again. She's had a few alterations here and there. The balloon that she uses for her normal forfeit no longer pops at the end. For example, some minor pose tweaks here and there. Overall, there is a fair bit to comment on. Rahabim, what are your thoughts?
It's worth noting she's not the only pony girl, of course. She is one of many to be getting this facelift for a more source accurate look. Pinkie Pie from the Equestria Girls, the cartoon where they're all just they just gave up on the pony thing.
All of them are being graded in that regard.
I think there's only one left. Who hasn't gotten a update yet? Was it Rainbow Dash?
Applejack. Rainbow Dash.
Because she has a lot of like custom bending over poses and stuff. I'm sure he'll get to her. But yeah, he updated everything. He even updated, her sister Maud, who don't look anything alike, and in her epilogue as well. But yeah, Rahabim, what did you think? Or Rahabim, what is it?
Oh yeah, it's Pinkie Pie was already one of my favorite characters before, but everything. I mean, it's just been a overall improvement, especially like for some of her stripping poses where she's throwing off her shirt or like bending over forward to take her skirt off. That's, man, amazing. And then, of course, another great butt pose from Horsecat. And I really enjoyed playing with her.
I don't think it's just one. Is it? Maybe it is. He tends to do clothed versions as well. Gotta up my game there.
Oh, yeah. I just saw the one, but it looked great.
See, it starts in
stage
3. Yeah. Horsecat always goes for very interesting and dynamic poses. Something we can especially talk about with Arle later. But Pinkie has a very outgoing personality.
Unlike us.
Unlike us, of course. she's confident, she jokes around, she's, quite silly. If you exclude her Pinkamena alternative persona, which has also been updated and can crop up during a game. I do have a small...
Yeah, if you lose so many times in a row, it comes up.
Yeah. If she loses so many times in a row, rather.
Right.
I do have a minor critique, which is that aside from her jumping pose, her custom breasts don't really move around at all. And this is something that happens a lot when someone gives a character custom breasts and you would expect them to move around a bit based on their poses. But doing that requires essentially remaking them again. And I get why people are maybe afraid to do that, but I do think it's an extra touch that goes a long way to enhancing the expressiveness of a model.
Okay, Mr. Aqua, Kingdom Hearts, sorry. I didn't do it yet. Okay, what about what I care about? Okay, I've spent all that time drawing them spreading their assholes. It's my waifu, and I'll draw her the way I want.
Here's her. One of her jumping poses for an example. Overall, though, it's really good to see all of the pony girls getting a facelift. I think some people first said that it was... Well, I think people said it looked a little off-putting when it was first revealed for Twilight, I think was the first, or maybe it was Fluttershy who was getting the new eyes. But I definitely think they're
Twilight was first.
I just cannot remember. But either way, I would say...
You've been bumping these out at a pretty good pace, all things considered.
Yeah. And so, it's definitely growing on me. Or has grown on me. It adds a lot to the appeal, it's more accurate. And any way to get more expressiveness out of a model is quite good. Especially for a character as expressive as Pinkie. And I just can't help but wonder, will we ever get Applejack? Because we have 2 rarities, but no Applejack. We need the farm girl pony.
We do have an Apple-themed character from Horse Cat.
We do.
Very true.
Did you know Ringo is just Japanese for apple?
No, I didn't.
Somewhere in the recesses of my mind, I think I knew. In my heart.
Well, let me briefly state my thoughts, briefly as always, on the Pinkie Pie update. First thing I wrote for my notes here is whew, man, you think your girl has a pink pussy.
Oh my god.
He unfortunately toned down the butt fangs from what I suggested because he's a coward. But overall, yeah, she's got a very nice 3/4 butt pose, cheeked up. She does have nice custom breasts. I like the way they look, and they do move at least somewhat. It's something we could all improve on, except for some among us. But yeah, people bitch and moan about the new eyes because I guess they don't like the character to look the way that they're supposed to look because they've forgotten that it's possible to do that. But she's so expressive. She looks great. Nice custom detailing. She maybe her boobs don't move around a lot, but she herself moves around a lot. There's just a ton of motion and dynamism in her poses. A lot of them are kind of off balance or fun and energetic, and I really appreciate them in that respect.
Absolutely.
Based on this GIF, her hair should flip.
Oh no. Oh no. Even non-anime characters aren't safe.
I think I was wrong when I said that about rarity or whatever, but I'm seeing it here. Come on, dog.
Something I've actually only just noticed is this is so seamless. I didn't even notice until now. She has custom mouths for, I'm gonna say, every single pose, and it's so.
Oh, you're right.
It's so well done. You don't even think about it.
Yeah, I guess you'd kind of have to, right? 'Cause she doesn't really have an anime mouth.
Yeah,
it's not a black line. But yeah, it looks great. I mean, that's how you know, man.
I'm assuming this is true of all the other Equestria Girls characters, and that's just sort of a mind-blowing thing. I'm just now realizing.
Yeah, Horse Cat, the humble man he is. He didn't even mention it, or maybe he did, and we didn't listen. And it is important to mention. Yeah, I think you already did, but it's very nice that the balloon that she masturbates with doesn't pop anymore. She used to be the patron saint of toxic shock syndrome. I mean, do you want to imagine picking pieces of plastic out of your birth canal?
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's an emergency room visit.
Yeah, it just looked painful.
So yeah, thankfully that weird shit is gone, and now it's it's the only good toy in the game if you really think about it. Not only is she posable, because it's actually clear, you can see her butthole through it, which is something that all other dildos block.
Well, clearly people just need to start using transparent ones, which is possible because of a. Actually, no, I think there was one by default in Kisuke anyway, but there is also a slider for that now in the newest alphas of Kisuke. So keep that in mind.
Very nice update overall. He pumps these out so regularly that I can't even gush about it too much, but each and every one of these is so high effort and so good. Can't wait for Rainbow Dash. Also known as the best one because she's a tomboy with small perky tits, Tomboy Nation. And for all you OGs out there, I want to come inside Rainbow Dash. Haha.
I think that about does it for our thoughts on Pinkie Pie then.
I narrowly dodged Pinkamena. I've never gotten it before. She was about to get it. She even had a pose like, oh my god, I feel like something's coming out of me. The animal inside. Because she had a bad hand after losing twice in a row, but thankfully someone saved her by having a queen high. I do think it's kind of weird that you can just get taken to a totally different character against your will.
Might be worth having a setting toggle for it.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
Well, no, I'm saying it could be a use of the setting toggle they'd be allotted.
Well, I'm ready to move on.
Well, up next is the main roster return of Sheena Fujibayashi from Tales of Symphonia,
who we just spoke about. She was pretty much on the cusp of returning last time. She just didn't quite make it because some group of unnamed strip poker game development mods didn't quite get to the QA over the holiday season.
I know, can't believe it. Did you know Shamiko was waiting for an entire month? Unbelievable, these lazy mods.
Yeah.
Rahabim, I don't think our thoughts have really changed that much since she was last talked about, but this is your chance to give us your honest thoughts about Sheena. So please, take it away.
So, yeah, she has a great model, and I love that her epilogue was also completed, or updated, just like Pinkie's was. It had been a while since I'd played with Sheena. The last time I had her epilogue was still in progress, kind of that to be continued. But yeah, she looks really great now, and I just noticed that during her swapping card lines, she also still used numbers instead of using a card's text.
That bothers you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a good rule of thumb is if a number is 10 or lower, you can just write out the word for it.
Yes, I've heard that. I mean, I agree.
Every once in a while, see it in and just kind of kills my immersion a bit. I couldn't tell if her summons had been updated or not. Do you know if they had been? I know there was a new one that was
I think so. I think you did everything.
Yeah,
Okay, nice. Yeah.
I definitely think the animations got an overhaul, and I would assume the characters in question that were summoned got an update as well. They definitely look to be modern standards of art.
Sometimes it's hard to tell when you only have the one frame of them.
Right, yeah. Yeah, overall, yeah, just a good improve. It's a good improvement. Everything looks better. Especially from, back in the day of when she was first around in on the swimsuit edition.
I'm not sure if swimsuit was ever a real thing or if it was just Andrew fucking around. Well, I guess we have the swimsuit edition every summer now, don't we?
We do, and people can get away with whatever outrageous costumes they want.
That's pretty much why nobody talks about the swimsuit edition anymore.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
Nor anything else.
I think Just Kidding is working on a summer costume for her. I don't know if it was actually...
Yeah, he's updating her costumes.
Oh, it was, yes. Queen of the Beach. The folder name threw me off.
Sheen of the Beach.
Because it's swimsuit Sheena rather than Sheena _ swimsuit. Very nice costume. It's got the areola peak. 10 out of 10. And then there's also the Easter costume. Sheena Chosen Beauty. Gonna post the same pose again. Also a very good design. Definitely one of the higher quality dozen bodysuits we have. Overall, very good work with Sheena in all respects. I feel bad that I don't really have much more to add.
New Sheena is very good. I love her big titties. Solitaire, I'm going to post this clip from the archived JoJo's Weekly Tournaments YouTube channel. It's 18 seconds long. Please play it in its entirety.
And JoJo coins, and then buy the sub with your own money, and then I'm gonna take away your JoJo coins. Oh boy. Big titty!
Oh my god.
I fail to understand the connection.
Did you not hear it? Actually, there is a connection because Just Kidding wants to make Mariah from JoJo, but yeah, okay. Moving on.
Oh, I get it now. But yes, moving on. Next up, there has been a breach of containment because we have Queen of Hatred / Queen of Hearts /
Holy shit, first SCP character?
You know, honestly, close enough. We have Queenie from Lobotomy Corporation.
Do you know what Lobotomy Corporation is and how it relates to the Library of Ruina? I keep hearing these titles thrown around. I don't know what the difference is between them. It's just like Monster Musume.
They are set in the same universe. Queenie is actually a boss character in Library of Ruina. She is one of 4 magical girls. In Lobotomy Corporation, she is one of the SCP-like entities that you have to potentially look after. I never got far enough to, quote-unquote, unlocking her as a anomaly.
How does the game even work?
Every anomaly you have to look after has bizarre and arbitrary conditions that will increase or decrease its counter, and if its counter reaches a certain threshold, it will have a containment breach, which usually results in the death of many of your agents. The whole point of the game is that these people are harvesting energy produced by these anomalies as a power source. And so keeping Queenie happy stops her from going on a rampage, seeing everyone as evil and trying to smite them. I believe she turns into a giant snake with wings if she gets angered.
Oh, so that's why she talks about snakes.
Yes.
This is by, I think this is the first effort by Insidiani, or at least the first completed effort. She was on testing. I can't remember when. I think when she first came on testing, it was when Namasp was still the co-host.
I believe so.
It's been a while. She dropped off for a while, and she's finally made it back and made it to the main roster. So, Nord, you probably have more detailed thoughts to give than I do.
She was added on the 29th of January last year, so
yeah,
almost her 1-year anniversary.
Pretty much right after Bina then, right? Isn't that right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I have only played a bit of Lobotomy Corporation, and I only know Library of Ruina facts secondhand, but I can try and give as much context as I've assimilated from my friends. But
no, I'm so glad you're here for me to ask about all these franchises, so you actually know the fucking difference between any of them, because I don't do any research. If you want me to talk for 5 hours about Vandred lore, I can do that. I know everyone's interested. It's good to know one of us is responsible.
Before we get into that, Rahabim, would you like to tell us your thoughts on Queen of Hatred? / Queen of Hearts / Queenie for short.
I really enjoyed her. I'm not familiar with her source, but she nails the magical girl defender of love and justice vibe, which I'm a big fan of. And her animations are all very well done, especially her formations. And a great, flying scene for her forfeit. I kept expecting a jump scare from her because of her source, but yeah, didn't. I was actually surprised that there wasn't anything like that. I think that's about it.
What do you think about her using her magical staff as a broomstick with which to do the forfeit on? Think it's a good choice? How do you feel about the animation in general?
Well, yeah, I mean, if she was from 2017, she would have stuck it inside herself.
Oh God!
I think the animation, having it as an animation, like really helps it pop. So just like stands out and distinguishes it a bit more. Yeah, I would do it if I could. I might have to look into that.
Any criticism?
Nope. Yeah, I mean, nothing that stood out or that I took note of.
All right, there you go, Insid, if you're listening. Absolutely flawless. No critiques whatsoever.
10 out of 10. Well done.
Even I don't have critiques.
Comparing her to the other Lobotomy Corporation / Ruina character, Bina, or Bina, however you wish to say it.
The Bee Gees.
What I've learned is people think Bina in SPNatI is fine. But that comes with the caveat of they have only really scratched the surface of why people like Bina, why she would be like a very desired pick for SPNatI. Because Zuja did come out and 412 days ago, to be exact, as of time of recording, Bina was put in the game. And then 381 days ago was her last update by Mama Zuja, who just sort of came out of nowhere, wrote Bina to the sort of standard for main, got her to main, and then disappeared. And so Bina is considered to sort of only like scratch the surface of why people like her as a character and why people find the Project Moon franchise so fascinating. Queenie, on the other hand, I have heard my friends praising her quite a bit because she leans into some of the darker elements or like more bizarre, anomalous elements of the franchise without, killing the mood. She's a really fun character in general, and it's the sort of franchise where it's like, okay, Queenie's not a main character. She has a small amount of screen time, and it's either, as an anomaly you're locking up, or as a boss you are fighting. And apparently Insidiouani has done really well at translating that. Now, having not played the games, I think her personality is really well done at selling this sort of dark take on a magical girl archetype. She has enough like earnestness that you really believe that she believes in her own mission, but you can sort of tell, she has a bit of a skewed view of right and wrong. And at the same time, she tries to be kind, she tries to be friendly, but I feel like in a perfect way, she is slightly off-putting at points. Like, not off-putting as in, this is taking me out of the moment, but in that it's, hinting at something more to her. And also, as a final note, she only has 4 fingers. Something that I think Insid seamlessly, did in the model to the point where I feel like people might not even notice she has Simpsons hands if you didn't have it pointed out to you.
Yeah, I only notice it about half the time. Is that like an express character trait, or is it just the art style?
I have to assume it's an actual... Yeah, it's an actual thing of her sprite. And this is...
Unlike,
this is
does
like,
everybody else have 5?
This is like in a more this is in a franchise where characters have like realistic enough, like they have anime designs, but it's sort of like realistic anime designs. Like insofar as like people don't have extremely wacky proportions or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I say this, and I'm looking at Lobotomy Corporation pictures, and I'm seeing the chibi art style. But yeah, it's a deliberate design choice that she only has 4 fingers, and Insid went the extra mile to make that happen.
And he did a good job. I'm sure it's a lot of work. Maybe that's why she was gone for a while. Everything good about Queenie that I said last time is still true now. It doesn't feel like she's changed a whole lot, but she does feel a lot more well-realized. The main point of praise I had for her, besides the animations and all that, was this seems like a character idea that could so easily go wrong because it breaks the S, the sociable aspect. She's she's like crazy and a threat to everyone's safety and could lose her fucking mind and turn them all into sausage casings at any moment. But she doesn't do that. And a lot of times that still strains credulity, either that the character wouldn't do it or that the other characters would feel safe enough around her to even play at all. And she's always done a good job of kind of threading that needle where there's enough justification for her not going crazy while still getting the crazy aspects of her personality across. They're just tamped down at the moment. And it's done in a way that's like nice and implicit, just like the comparisons she draws, talking about like torn muscle and exposed bone and things. But just as like a regular turn of phrase where you have to actually read the line to be like, oh, that's fucking weird. Why did she say it like that? If you're not paying attention to her, you wouldn't even notice that she's necessarily crazy. But if you do pay attention, then it's abundantly clear. So I think it works well enough in that case. And when she first came on, she did feel a little bit uneven in that aspect. And replaying her now, she just feels so polished. She feels a lot more complete and cohesive in that way, and where it's pretty much always implicit. And in that way, she slots very nicely onto a table. And this is just a really nice, promising project to see completed from Insidiouani, and I hope he goes on to do other stuff. It's very nice. He doesn't talk a whole lot either. He's like a Robin, but he always puts out good stuff.
He actually hangs out quite a bit in the
DC,
server,
right? Yeah.
in the voice channel, but he never talks. If he, funnily enough, he did ask me once, hey, would it be possible for someone to appear on the podcast using text-to-speech? Just asking.
Napsu already did that.
Oh, I suppose.
Don't use any custom emotes or it'll read out like 100 quadrillion, 54 trillion, 222,000. But yeah, you can use text-to-speech. I don't know what his problem is.
I presume he just doesn't have a microphone or doesn't feel like it. He has been working on other models of...
Whoever this is. Is this the girl from Brave, all grown up?
This is Ishmael. Oh, there's another game in the series. Forgot about that. Limbus Company. That's the new one. That's the one everyone's talking about. Developed by Project Moon. So this is the newest one, came out last year. He's been developing a lot of models with an insane amount of detail, actually. So I imagine a couple of Limbus Company characters are on the horizon, either by him or written by someone else.
And I will be happy to let you explain to me what that is.
From what I gather, the Limbus is a real bus that they use to get to their job.
The Ligma Company? Well,
but yeah, good job, Insid.
Look forward to more from him. That's all I had to say on Queenie. Very good. Very promising. Oh, I actually do have a bit of criticism. I lied before. You can always find more criticism. Her legs are like too closed up all the time on her forefoot. Her knees are always together. It makes it hard to see anything good.
Surprised you weren't going to ask for a butt pose.
Well, that's just implicit.
Of course, of course.
If I were king of SPNatI, it would be a sponsorship requirement. I don't care how bad it is. You should at least have one.
So, last up on the agenda for today's episode is Arle Nacha from Puyo Puyo.
I think it's just Arle. I'd have to fact check you on that.
Horse Cat did not use the pronunciation field in the character editor.
Well, that's because you can just use katakana. Arle. Yeah, it's just Arle.
Arle.
She's even more of the main character than Ringo is, I believe.
So, Arle comes with notably a classic design, which gives her the this great retro look. And this pose here is also an excellent demonstration of how, for his Puyo Puyo goals, Horse Cat has gone above and beyond with the custom poses. And of course, that's the one you choose to post. Rahabim, please take us away. Tell us what you thought of Arle.
Yeah, this is another character that I have very few criticisms about. Like, it's a great use of her reskin with her classic designs. Again, more great side poses from Horse Cat and butt poses. I like this pose in particular, where she's leaning forward and the little creature is just staring lovingly. Is great.
That's what I gotta draw next, man, is doggy style poses. Stick that ass up.
Yeah, this is she's also from a game I haven't played, so I can't speak much for her personality, but she seemed like very well written and in character.
It's all right. I think most of them aren't even translated. Puyo Puyo seems to have like a really niche fan base, despite being like, I guess, a popular series overall.
In the West, you're more likely to know it as the Mean Bean Machine more than anything.
From good old Sonic Mega Collection. Oh, there is actually another franchise mate being worked on. He's in the background of that GIF. It's Scherzo or whatever his name is. The guy who always talks in dirty puns. Is that the guy that's always perving on her, she thinks?
Wouldn't surprise me. I know nothing about this franchise other than it has a versus Tetris game.
I think there's a literal demon character. He's just like Satan. But he's like an anime pretty boy, obviously.
Of course.
He's done a lot to add in Carbuncle, her cute little mascot. Because everyone has a companion now.
Of course. That's just how modern SPNatI rolls.
Sorry, Robin. We kind of interrupted you. You want to keep giving your thoughts?
Oh, no. Yeah, I was only going to say that that was about what I had anyway. That was another good character.
What do you think about the extra poses that he does that completely go beyond what Kisuke is normally capable of?
I think they suck.
Look great. I mean, and it's always surprised what you can get away with in Kisuke these days now.
Well, it's probably not even Kisuke. I think he just hand draws a lot of them, and it's only hands or limbs that are actually taken from Kisuke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Best I've been able to do is mouse drawing and Photoshop, and it looks all aliased. I'm working on it.
Same here, but I think it is something you can do for a character, and I still believe that every Kisuke artist reaches the point where you do say, screw this, I'm going to learn how to draw it by hand so I don't have to make this out of 52 hair pieces and 200 ribbons.
Well, the main advantage of Kisuke is being able to pose it and create a lot of images at once. But if your only goal is to make the one pose, then it doesn't really matter.
That is true.
You might as well just draw it.
Yeah.
I still want to pose them all for epilogues and things, but I've just been chopping them up into body parts in Photoshop.
With Arle, he also does an interesting technique of being able to save on assets and reuse poses by having the facial expressions completely separate from the actual pose itself, which is interesting. Arle only uses about 6 megabytes of space to begin with, so I wonder what led them to thinking they had to do this, or if it was just a technical idea. Although thinking about
they're all custom?
they're not all custom, but some of them are. Like there's there's like 5 or so variants of the cam pose that just have different facial expressions, and then there's like 5 different versions of the pointing pose that I posted here. Although looking at her images on Google, I think that's how they do their actual sprites in the game she's from. So maybe Horsecat just wanted to replicate that for complete authenticity.
Arle was very good. Every bit as good as Ringo. Every bit with the amazing custom poses. And like the dialogue itself is very cute and fun and upbeat as well. I shouldn't discount that. I'm always impressed when these like writers who have English as a second language come out with all these like punny lines and things. Because that can't be that can't be easy to wrap your head around.
And I think it's the funny thing of these characters have well-defined personalities and different ways of quote-unquote fighting each other, but really it just comes down to how well can you stack blocks together to make them disappear. At least that's how I understand it. Yeah.
Arle is a good example of like one of those characters she's technically embarrassed and kind of naive and new to sexuality, but she's also very willing to explore herself, and she feels comfortable in the SPNatI environment, which is always really nice to have that kind of sex positive angle without it seeming creepy and exploitative.
I think that is a increasingly growing trend among newer SPNatI characters, where you want to have the hint of embarrassment, but you definitely want to make sure that consent is established. And I think it's in, like, people look back at the past and see how negatively characters used to react and, like, outright saying, oh, I don't want to be here. And it's like, you can just leave in universe. You could just leave. So now I think... And there's a lot more room for character interactivity if they're into what's happening.
Has been on testing for a while as well. It's nice to see her get onto main. I think we covered her all the way back in episode 71. Not really sure what took so long. I guess it's just a lot of effort, especially with the alternate skin, classic Arle with a completely different design and all that custom work. I went out of my way to sponsor her. I don't normally do that, but nobody was sponsoring her. It's like, how was no one sponsoring this ass? Mostly just told her. I mostly just told them to add more like silent short lines to her because she was talking a little bit. She was getting a little too lore dumpy. But she has a lot to say. She knows a lot of people. She's had a lot of Puyo battles with them. She's seen a lot of things. It's weird. It's like Ringo's more like a normal girl who just likes calculus, don't we all? And Arle seems more in tune with like the medieval fantasy kind of setting because she doesn't even know what a bra is. Isn't that titillating?
Tit.
But she's cute. I love this little. I love the tight, perky look. Big fan. This guy, Horsecat, he just shits out gold, man. How was he getting me to jerk off to ponies? I swore back in 2010 I would never do such a thing.
Times change, and so must you.
Now I'm jerking off to Puyos. I mean Arle.
Hold up.
I'm just jerking off to Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. And with that, it's time to end. I don't think there's anything else to say, unless you have something.
I've said my piece.
Yep, yeah, same here.
Really?
Yep, yeah,
Really?
same here.
Nothing else to say. You can't think of anything. Nord, you can't think of anything.
Arle is good. Queenie is good. Sheena is good. Pinkie Pie is good. Nadeshiko is good. This episode is all about the good things. Good things done by good developers.
And also Nord.
Hey.
That was a little mean. Sorry, Nord. Nord does a very good job. He makes great characters. I'm sure he will have another character for us to cover next time. He's always cooking up something. He even posted something. But I'll let him share that when the day comes. That's going to do it for episode 84. Thanks for coming on, Nord. Thanks for coming on, Rahabim. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Make sure to check out the general feedback poll, SPNatI general feedback poll, link likely in the description. We love reading your feedback. We love reading your content suggestions. Become a developer so you will love reading feedback as well. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care.
Do you want me to introduce the characters in this one?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you can do that. I'm just thinking of a good intro.
Well, you never give me time to think of a response.
Nord.
Hello.
Nord, as I hear myself in the background of Rahabim's channel again.